And we are live.
Yay.
Welcome to a self-healing journey with our lovely guest and shamanic practitioner, Sarina Michaels. Welcome, Sarina.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I am going to find us on Facebook and start sharing out. So if I'm quiet for a little while, just bear with me.
Okay.
Oops,
No
wrong
worries.
place. All right. Okay, here we are. Oop, lower that. All right. Let's share. Share now. Okay. I shared it to your group as well.
Awesome. It's interesting that people around the world are in such different time zones. So, like, for instance, I'm in California, so it's Pacific time, lunchtime. But in England, it's 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So
Oh yeah, that's
we have to
true.
wait and see who's able to join in.
Very true. And I'm on the East Coast, so it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here.
Right.
Which is pretty much my favorite time to go on. I don't know why it is, but it is.
Well, then it worked out perfectly. I love to be on at 12 noon. The kids are in school and it tends to be more quiet.
Hello, whoever's showing up. Welcome. I'll be able to see you in a minute. I'm sharing out.
This is so exciting.
I am very excited.
I'd be very interested to hear how you came up with this idea.
Oh,
Maybe you could start off by sharing that with the group.
yes, I will. I'm almost done, guys. I think we're there. There we are. Now let me go on here. Make sure that's lower. Hi, Sandy Samadhi.
Hi, Sandy.
Welcome. Thank you for sharing. Oops. Hi, Ada. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello.
All right. So, Sandy says, I love your background, Sarina. Is that a third eye pendant?
Yes, I have them on my little lamp here. It's just wonderful. I love looking at them every day. Thank you.
Hi, Linda. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody.
Hello,
Sarina.
hello. We're so glad to be here.
Yeah, this is like really exciting for me to do. This is the first time ever interviewing somebody.
Yay, good
And
for you.
that came up when you wrote that long post about your healing journey.
Okay.
I remember I asked if you would share it.
I've written a few of those.
Well, remember I asked you if you would share it so I could share it in my group, and you did. That's when Spirit was telling me you need to interview Sarina, and I'm like, well, I don't interview people. This is not me.
How many times have we all said that?
Oh my gosh, yes. A
And we
ton
get
of
the
times.
poke. We keep getting the poke from Spirit until we suddenly realize we can do it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so when I put that post up, it was like, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to jump in with both feet, because I'm tired of hearing you need to be interviewing people.
Yes, honey, I totally understand. This is exactly the kind of life I lead too.
Yeah. And I'm pretty set in my ways. I do have a lot of Taurus energy, so I am set in my ways and very slow to make decisions. I think about them before I do them, and I think about them a lot. And my guides know that. But
yeah, I always joke about how when they ask us to do something, then they know it's going to take like 7 years in human time for us,
right,
or
yeah.
3 years, or 3 months, or whatever, for us to say yes. And they're probably laughing, as
Hi, Afia. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Jeanette.
hello.
Welcome. Excuse me. So yeah, that's how this started, and of course, it took me months. Okay, it took me months, literally months, to step out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Here we are.
And here we are. We're doing
And
this.
you're doing okay. You look good
thank
too.
you. Thank you. So do you.
Oh, thanks. Mutual Admiration Society.
So,
for those of you that don't know, we have a lot in common. This gal and me, our journeys are similar, and we have a lot in common. So it's actually a true pleasure to be here, to be the first one on this series. I'm just thrilled to pieces.
I'm so happy that you agreed, and I'm so happy that you're here. And for those of you that don't know, I actually met Sarina in person.
Mm-hmm.
Was it last summer?
No, two summers.
See, I lose track of time. I really do. It's been 2 years already. Wow.
Well, it'll be 2 years in August.
2 years in August. So yeah, wow, I do really lose track of time. That's okay.
It's all flying by.
Yes, she was venturing out across country, and I happened to be one of her stops on the path, and that was really, really cool. Really cool that I actually got. Hi, John. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, hello.
So we're gonna turn this around a little bit and ask Sarina if she would, start us off on how your healing journey started.
Well, I'm 72 years old. And so, when you get to be my age, you start to look, it all starts to like melt together in your memory. There's so much. But I have to say and I just have to preface anything I say because this series is on healing yourself. And so I just want to say that healing yourself is available to us all, but it takes commitment and it takes dedication and it takes being bloody minded. You know, you have to just decide you're going to do it. So for me, I come from a long history of what was diagnosed as physiological chronic depression. Runs a lot in my family, so there's a genetic component. There's also generational components, you know, where it comes down through the generations. You can call that genetic, but I also call it spiritual, that spiritual component. And so from the age of, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years old, I felt very uncomfortable being in this world and really would have liked to have checked out. So I battled suicidal depression my entire adult life. You know, I began the self-healing process in my 20s when I began crying out for divine help. My understanding at the time was that God was up there and I was down here, and that I needed help from a supreme being. And so that's who I would call out to. Now I began to have mystical experiences. And so I feel that, you know, I've always had that component to my life, and I feel very blessed by it. So I would have visions and dreams. And one day in my 20s, I had an experience where the whole living room filled up with light. And I thought I was imagining it. I was alone at home and I was extremely depressed, very, very tearful with it and crying out for help. But that light got brighter and brighter. And I thought, oh my God, this is like in the Bible where the angel appears and says, do not be afraid. But there was no voice and there was no angel. I mean, I didn't see anything. It was just this bright light surrounded me to the point that I was literally on the floor with my hands, you know, covering my face and have the light piercing my hands and coming into me. And what I felt, without there being any language exchanged, language that we understand as humans, but this was a language of the heart, was that I was completely and totally loved. That enabled me to go on living. Even though the depression didn't go away, I could remember having that experience and I could hang on to that. So through the years, I was trying anything and everything different. I had a religion that I was part of. I went for therapy. I did, different kinds of foods, you know, because I learned that sugar can really affect your brain and different kinds of foods we eat can affect us. And, you know, I did all the normal stuff that we read about and hear about.
Right.
But it wasn't until 12 years ago that I began to get some real results.
Wow. Just the white light alone. Whoa.
That was pretty amazing. I had some other visions and dreams that kept me going. One time I dreamed that my friend Jesus carried me down a river and threw me over a cliff. Now that may sound sounds a little bit harsh, right? It felt a little bit harsh. I'm like, what? Why are you throwing me over a cliff? I had felt safe in his arms. I look back at it now and I see it as an absolute declaration that of my ability to receive a truth without someone telling me what it was. Okay, he didn't tell me what it was. When I fell off the cliff, I fell into a dark luminosity. It was like a darkness, but filled with luminous darkness. That's hard to explain. But it was like being in the womb of your mother and hearing the heartbeat of your mother. And just, again, this feeling of being surrounded by love. Again, this was about 10 or 12 years after that initial experience I had. The way I see it is each one of us is a special human being.
Yes.
And each one of us has gifts, and that spirit will interact with us in the ways that we need to keep us going, you know, to keep us from ultimate despair. Because a lot of the time I felt like I was at the bottom of a well under the water, just looking up, you know, and seeing the little round opening at the top, you know, and I just knew that there was light up there, but I couldn't get out of the water, couldn't get up there. So I was given all these little encouraging
encouragements. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to say that that's probably what everyone experiences in one way or another. They feel a glimmer of hope, hope, and then and gradually we're each brought into a place where we begin to find ways that really begin to help us heal. And that's what happened to me.
Yes.
And I think that's what you want me to share about, but I don't want to keep talking.
Oh, absolutely. No, this is all about you and your self-healing journey. So please talk on.
Okay. Well, it makes some people uncomfortable, but I'll just be honest. I'll be truthful to my journey. I was led away from my religion. Hello to whoever's joining. I can't see you, but we're so glad you're here.
Oh, that's C. Megan Michael.
Hello, C. Megan. Glad you're here. I was led away from my religion in a very specific way, which I don't think I need to go into today. But it was very clear that the religion no longer served, and that a lot of what I had believed, the dogma of the religion, was actually damaging to me because I had given away my power. So this is what we all do in one way or another. Whether it's through religion or in toxic relationships or at work or in our family relationships, there's all different ways that we give away our power, where we allow other people to define us. We allow institutions to tell us what to believe. And this can be very, very damaging. However, having said that, I will never denigrate some of those institutions because they keep people, they help people. They really do.
Yes, they do.
The important thing to realize is when you are called to do something else, don't feel stuck in that place. So it took me about 5 years to stop feeling like I couldn't leave my church, that I would go to hell. So because I'm a very cerebral type of person, this is one way I helped heal myself, by the way. So I just say this to those of you that need to do this. I did research. I read a lot. I journaled a lot. I prayed a lot. I experienced, I dreamed. This went on for 5 years. I was hearing the voice I knew as Jesus saying, no, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I meant. And this was very disturbing to me. But I began to take it on board. And I began to realize that when he said the kingdom of God is within you, for me, that meant that I was in charge. I was in charge of myself. And it was around that time that I began to experience, I don't know how to put this, my spirit guides, for lack of a better way to put it. I began to hear my spirit guides, what some of us call our spirit team, in the mystical realm, in the otherworldly realm, in the other dimensions, some might say, speaking to me. And they began to tell me how much I was loved and that it was, I was on the right path, that there was no right path in the sense that I had to do what someone else said or someone else had to do what I said. I wasn't meant to be converting people to my new way of understanding. It wasn't my job. That what I really needed to understand was that I needed to take back my own power and live my own truth. This was very frightening. Okay. I ended up losing my entire social network because my entire network was within my religion. And I ended up walking away from my marriage of 40 years, which took a lot of courage. So I want to say to those of you that are listening, if you're on a path of transformation and you're on a path of self-discovery and self-healing, it will take courage. Not that you'll be asked to leave the things that you are involved in. That was simply what happened to me. But whatever it is, just tell yourself on a daily basis, I can do this. I can do this, and take it one day at a time. And that's what happened for me. My spirit guides, when I first got out, I thought, oh my God, where am I? What am I? Who am I? I mean, I was 62 years old. I had been in my religion since I was in my 20s. I barely understood life outside of that context. I had been an extremely devout practitioner within that religion. So I was like, oh, looking all around, where am I? And I felt like I was floating in space. So I just decided, well, what the heck? I'm just going to go do everything. So I consulted psychics. I studied ufology. I studied, different religions that I hadn't ever been a part of or didn't understand, that we had all criticized from where I was coming from in my background. And, I began to talk to people that I had never considered safe to talk to before. I got more therapy. Therapy's wonderful if you find the right person to talk to, because they will just help you open all the doors for yourself that you have closed and felt afraid to go through. So that's what happened with me. And then my spirit guides just began to tell me to study shamanism. And I didn't know what that was. I mean, I knew the word shaman. I mean, I'm fairly well educated. So I associated it with witchcraft. I associated it with, particularly because I had lived in Africa for several years. My ex-husband was a diplomat, so we had lived in Africa for several years. I associated it with tribal medicine men and medicine women.
Right.
And then, of course, back here in the States, we associate it with Native American medicine men and medicine women. But when you begin to open the whole package, which is what they encouraged me to do, I discovered an entire world view, and the world view for me is closely akin to quantum physics, which is that we are all part of each other. We are all related. I mean, we have the rock people, the tree people, the plant people, we say the two-legged, the four-legged, the six-legged, the eight-legged, the winged, the swimmers, right. The cosmics, the angelics, the multidimensionals. We're all related. We're all together. So this was a huge part of my self-healing journey, was to begin to understand that first of all, I'm not alone. I am unique. I am responsible for myself in this incarnation, but I am ultimately part of all of this huge cosmic divinity, that God isn't something off there in the
universe
separate from me, that I am within source, and source is within me. So this was a huge part of my healing.
Yes.
And beginning to practice that.
That can be scary in itself, right?
Well, yes.
Yes.
But, the thing that I say to people, I mean, you can look at these, there's the macro and there's the micro, and you can look at the big macro, the big picture of all of this. But on a daily basis, you're a human being, you're a spiritual being living inside of a human shell. And you incarnated here, we all incarnated here to learn, perhaps learn life lessons. And that's one viewpoint. I embrace that viewpoint. And so I began to ask myself, what are my life lessons that I'm trying to learn? What am I here for? And one of the things I was shown, I think very clearly, is that I didn't have to have this big purpose. I didn't have to because in the religion I had been in, we were always seeking for our big purpose. And I remember one of my spirit guides is Archangel Michael. And he said to me one time, if you never did another thing, this human doing that we get involved with, the human doing rather than the human being. He said, if you never do another thing, it's fine. You're here anchoring light into the planet simply by being here. As you continue to raise your vibration, as you continue to embrace yourself with love, as you continue to move in the realm of love, this divine love, which is, it's the word love, is so hackneyed. I mean, we have so many different levels of understanding of the word love. So when I say the word love, in this sense, I'm talking about the all-encompassing, all divine, and oh my gosh, it's so hard to put into words, isn't it, Kim?
Yeah.
This sense of belonging. Okay, that kind of love is what we want to practice every day. So there was a few things that Spirit showed me to do to help overcome my depression.
That was going to be my next question.
Your next question.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've been talking about
good.
the macro. Now, this is the
you're
micro.
good. You got it. You picked right up on it, because I just wrote it down.
Well, everybody's got their own ways of dealing with stuff. But one of the things that I suggest is looking in the mirror, deep into your eyes. Okay. So your eyes, I can't even see look into my own eyes in this camera, but look in the mirror into your own eyes and really look, because you're in there. The you that is the observer, the you that is inhabiting the human body. Okay. The soul of you. Look in there and say, I love you. I love you. I love you. You are enough. You are enough. When I first started to do that, I would cry. I would just cry because I never believed it. I felt cheated and angry my whole life. And I just didn't think it was true. But one of the things I've learned is that you can rewire your brain, because I had a very depressed, anxious brain, which I rewired through the practice of gratitude and through positive mantras. Now, everybody knows about this. This is not news. There's all kinds of gurus out there telling you you can do this, but I'm here to tell you you can do it. It took 2 years. I'm not saying it's easy. You got to be bloody minded about it. I picked a mantra at the beginning, which was the complete opposite of what I believed.
I just have to say, the first time I ever looked in the mirror into my own eyes, I was scared shitless.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Scared, totally scared. Well, I couldn't do it for very long either.
I know, nor could I. And in fact, I cried a lot because I just didn't believe it. I didn't believe that I was worthy of love. I didn't believe that I deserved love. And certainly it seemed ridiculous to me to tell myself a lie. But what I've learned in a practical sense is that your brain doesn't know the difference between a lie,
absolutely,
and a truth. So you can tell your brain whatever you want to tell it, and it will believe it over a period of time. So over a period of time, I began saying, all is well and all will be well. And I used to just laugh. Oh my God, this is such a lie, but I didn't say it.
No, Sarina, I'm worse than you. I'm worse than you. I would look in the mirror and go.
Well, I stopped. I continued looking in the mirror. But another thing I did was I took my dog on a couple of walks a day, long walks, because he was a big husky and he was a big fella. He needed exercise. So during the walks, I committed to saying all is well and all will be well over and over and over.
So you did this on a daily basis.
And I literally would say it, all is well and all will be well. All is well and all will be well. All is well. And, and they say that you need to feel the emotion in order to manifest. Okay. So you make the statement, you put everything into it, like you're an actor, like you're a Shakespearean actor. You put all the emotion into it. You pretend, okay, this is what it feels like, that you're telling this immense lie, because from my point of view, all was not well. I was divorced. I was poor. I was old. I was, kind of almost homeless, having to live with my daughter. And I was, all was not well. But I just taught my brain that all was well and all will be well. And I began practicing gratitude. So this is another thing you can do, a very practical thing. You get a journal or you join an online group and you just start saying 2 or 3 things a day. You start out simple.
Yes,
because if you have an attitude of anger and hostility and sadness and depression and lack and all of those things and feeling cheated and it's not fair and all of that, and that's all you ever say with yourself, within yourself, that's exactly how your whole life will manifest in that way. So if you begin saying, oh my God, this coffee is so delicious, just one little thing, right? I could remember my mother. I was reminded that my mother used to sit in her lounge chair every morning and she'd drink her coffee and she'd say, nectar of the gods. So I began doing that with my coffee, just practicing gratitude with my coffee. And then I got really grateful for modern sanitation. I'm just telling you like it is. This was one of my things I focused on: hot running water, toilets that flush. I don't have to wear a long dress like they did in the 1800s to hike it up to use the toilet, things like that. I would focus on things that I was really grateful for, grateful for rain, grateful for the butterfly. I'm grateful for my grandchildren, and gradually what you do is I suggest having a gratitude journal, but not everybody's up for journals. Just begin setting alarms on your clock to practice gratitude. Setting alarms on your phone. When it beeps, stop. Stop what you're doing. If you're at work, go in the bathroom. If you're, whatever you're doing, if you're shopping, if you're at home, just stop what you're doing and intensely focus on something you're grateful for. Now, what all this does is it rewires your brain, your physical brain. It literally does. And over a period of time, you'll begin feeling better.
Yeah.
And this is what happened to me. And when you begin feeling better, you begin to feel motivated, because one of the big problems with being depressed and being angry is no motivation.
Yeah.
And all you want to do is watch TV or sleep or, whatever.
So I want to preface this, that this is a daily thing that you did.
Yes.
Yes.
And I set my alarms on my phone.
You didn't do it once a week.
No.
And expect everything to be better. You did
No, in fact, when I first started, I gave myself 6 months.
There you go.
Because one of the things I understood about myself was that I had been suicidal since the age of 4, and I was 62 years old. You don't turn that around in once a week. You don't turn that around easily. I wasn't even sure I could turn it around. I had been on medication and therapy and all kinds of I'd gone for prayer. Every possible thing, that I could try. So I said, well, I'm going to do this every day. Like first it was 2 times a day, then it was 4 times a day, then it was 6 times a day for 6 months, and see how I feel. And it's like going on a diet.
So you set a goal.
Negativity. I just decided to diet from negativity and increase my positivity and see where I was in 6 months. Like you would if you were on a diet and you wanted to lose 100 pounds. Right. You don't lose 100 pounds overnight, right?
Right. Absolutely. I agree. A lot of people think that, they can be positive 2 days a week and things are going to work out. And then, the following week, they're back down again. So,
well, one thing that I want to say, is you have to really do some self-reflection. This isn't just some sort of magic pill you're taking.
Right.
There's part of self-healing is getting in touch and doing your shadow work, what we call in shamanism, your shadow work. There are things that trigger you. When you get triggered by a family member or by a situation or by a political situation or anything that triggers you, you need to take some time out and say, what's that all about? What triggered me? Why am I triggered? Dive down in, find out what's the root, and then apply healing, forgiveness, in whatever way you need. I can't stress how important forgiveness is, not from a religious point of view. I'm not talking about the religious type of forgiveness. I'm talking about the forgiveness that allows you to apply love to any situation and understanding and compassion. So what we're essentially doing in the self-healing process is we're growing in love and compassion, first for ourselves and then for others. And so when you're doing the work, your shadow work, and you're finding out the things that you're triggered by, you're actually healing yourself. And you can also consult spiritual healers. Like as a shamanic practitioner, I can do generational healing work for clients and soul retrieval and different kinds of work like that. So you can also do that. And I did that too. I went to energy healers. I went to psychics. I went to anybody and everybody that I could think of that could help me. I was just all in. I'm going to get better. I'm not going to die like this. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life like this. One of the things I learned too is that spending time outside, wherever you are and whatever time of year it is really helpful in self-healing. I used to go outside in the middle of the winter. I used to live in rural Virginia, and I would lie down on the ground in the snow. And I didn't know at the time that Mother Earth was just her healing energy was just rising up, and just her heartbeat was just beating into me. But I would always get up from lying on the ground feeling better. And I used to do that in the fall, just lie down on the wet leaves. I don't care. Just get on the ground, get on a tree, get next to a tree. I still talk to trees. Trees are huge healing agents. They have huge energy, and I think part of their reason for being on the planet is to just help any and all of us, whoever we are, whatever incarnation we're in. Trees are there for us. And if you will lean on a tree for half an hour, just sit with it, its healing energy will enter into you.
I believe that. I believe that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. So this is like an amazing thing. It was not an instant healing. It took quite a while for you to do. Do you still even though you've come out on the other side, do you still practice your daily gratitude? And
Absolutely. I know, because perhaps because I'm not entirely sure how the genetics of depression affect me. So I don't take it for granted for one single minute that my brain feels healthy, and I feel happy. I remember buying this little mat for my kitchen. It said, "Happiness is homemade." Now that seemed like such a simple thing, but oh my God, it resonated so deeply with my heart. Happiness is homemade. I can make my own happiness. I don't have to wait for someone to come fix me or rescue me. So if I'm not happy, why aren't I? And make a list. Why aren't I happy? And then you've got your list, and then you can say, okay, what can I do about this? Number one, number two, or, whatever. And then, so I do that, on a fairly regular basis. I check in with myself. What's going on? Or I get triggered. Again, triggers are a gift to us. Instead of viewing, oh no, there I go again, getting angry at, like road rage, or, or I was mean to the clerk in the store. Why was I impatient with the clerk in the store? What was going on inside of me? What provoked me? And then I was mean to her. I belittled her, things like this. You can just stop and do a little session with yourself. This is how you increase in your love and compassion, not only for yourself, but others. It's also how you maintain yourself in your healing process.
Yeah. Triggers, to me, are like emotions that show you what you don't want to be.
Yeah, they're a gift.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, I'm so bad, say, oh, I still need a little work. I need to do a little work. Just treat it as oh, thank you, Spirit. I'm disappointed about that. Let me go see what I can do to become a better person as a result of you showing that to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But, for those of you that struggle with depression, I would never belittle you in any way. I struggled and struggled and struggled. And I always say that a lot of people with severe depression fall in battle, because it's like you're in this lifelong battle to stay alive. And I so understand that. And so, I would never say, don't take medicine. Oh, absolutely take medicine if you need it. Don't go to therapy. Absolutely go to therapy if you need it. Don't beat up on yourself. If you can't do the gratitude 3 times a day, don't beat up on yourself. Do it once a day, do it once a week, whatever you can do. But I always do believe in setting alarms. It sounds like a very prosaic thing, but set alarms on your clock. Bing, 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 it goes off. Oh, okay, I need to be grateful for a minute. What you're doing is you're refreshing your whole body. It's like giving your body call it a gratitude pill, or call it a flush of love, or call it a minute of peace from the wrangling that's going on in your brain all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set those little alarms.
That sounds really good as a way to, make yourself remember to do it.
Honestly, for those of us that are habituated to what we used to call stinking thinking, it's, for me, it was the only way. I couldn't remember to think positive. I had to set alarms to make myself stop and say, oh, it's time to think positive. And like when I would first wake up in the morning, my first response to waking up in the morning was, oh no, I've got to do it all over again today. And all I could think of was all the negative that was facing me, and my stress level, my cortisol, everything, my fright, my flights. I want to run, I want to hide. All this would rise up. Instead, so what I instead began doing is I changed the alarm sound on my clock on my phone so that it was a different sound. So that in the beginning, so when I would wake up, I would be, oh. And then I would say, oh, I need to be grateful. So then I would start thinking of things to be grateful before I ever got out of bed, because that immediately helps you feel better. Now, all we can do is one day at a time. And
Absolutely.
To say, I love myself today, no matter how successful I am today. I love myself today. Very, very important. Very important. Because none of us will be successful every day, And there's real things in the world. I'm not this person that's saying, oh, you should be happy all the time, and meanwhile, like horrible things are happening in the world, shootings and famine and war and death and cancer. And, there's all kinds of things happening in the world. This is not to say that you don't have empathy or feel. And perhaps some of you are extremely empathetic, and that's partly why you are struggling. So I just want to say first, it's okay to feel pain on behalf of the people that are suffering and the animals that are suffering. Mother Earth is suffering. In my case, I take a drum, I do shamanic drumming, and I'm like sending healing incantations to the earth. This is my way of dealing with my struggle with, my pain over what's happening to on the planet. Everybody can find ways that they can do a little something to help. But in general, what you're going to be needing to do is take care of yourself first. And then everything else can flow. Now, here's another couple of tips, Kimmy. I just keep thinking of things. We said we would do stream of consciousness.
That's what we're doing.
If you guys aren't taking care of your chakras, please take care of your chakras. In the Far East, the chakras, it's just another word for your whole energy system. Okay. That which makes you operate. It's not about it. It has to do with your organs and all of your body as well. But your chakras are spinning. Some of them are shut down if you're not taking care of them. And if you will take care of them, you will feel better. And you can get help from Reiki practitioners, shamanic practitioners, energy healers, all different kinds of practitioners can help you. You can go on YouTube and find ways to check your chakras for yourself with a pendulum. If you don't know how to use a pendulum, you can take a class on YouTube and learn how to use a pendulum. There's all kinds of ways that you can check your chakras. The other thing is, are you setting proper boundaries for yourself? And are you staying grounded to Mother Earth? Okay, so a lot of people are stuck in and out of their body. Half their body, half their energy body is outside and half is in. And it all needs to be in. So you need to be checking, am I grounded? This should be a daily practice.
Yes.
And there's lots and lots of information. I'm not going to go into how to ground or even the whole meaning of grounding. You can find out anywhere on YouTube, or just Google how to ground myself. There's metaphysical ways to ground yourself, and there's physical ways to ground yourself. Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
And then so you need to be grounding yourself, and you need to be setting proper boundaries. So for those of us that are very empathetic and maybe have struggled with being the person that's going to save the world, we have to fix everything, and we're always serving others, and it's difficult for us to set boundaries. And people, there's lots of energy, what we call energy vampires. They're sucking the life out of you. Okay, so part of your self-care and your self-healing is going to be teaching yourself how to set proper boundaries.
I had to do that.
How to say no, and how to have. I call in the white light every day, and I ask Archangel Michael to set boundaries around me, and I just, everybody will find their own way, but that's important too.
Yeah, I had to do that for myself because, I do like helping people, and I will be open to helping anybody.
Mm-hmm.
but it was actually getting to a point where it was wearing me thin.
Well, that's
Literally
exactly right.
wearing me thin. So I had to actually set real boundaries that I would stick to, like, okay, my phone is off at 8 o'clock at night. Easy boundary.
That's an easy one.
I will check to see if there's an emergency, but if it's not an emergency, I will get back to them the next day.
Oh, that's really good. Those are good practical tips.
Yeah, that was an easy one for me to keep. I wanted to go back, okay, for 1 minute, because I believe the same thing about medication. If medication is helping you, then stick with it. Okay. There is no judgment on what frequency you work in or you choose to work in this lifetime. Okay. There's a big fallacy going on that medication is bad. It is not bad. All things are not bad. If the medication that you are using is helping you, then please stick with it. Okay. There are more than one way to do this. A lot more than one way.
I was on medication for years.
And on the other hand, if you want to try going without medication, please do it with help from a professional.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Very good. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, there's no judgment on this. There is no judgment. If we choose to go the medical route, that is beautiful. If we
it's just one of the many ways you can help yourself.
Right. If we choose to go the spiritual route, that's beautiful. If we choose to mix the two together, that's beautiful.
It's fine. I highly resent people being made to feel small or guilty or shame because they're taking medicine. Medicine saved my life.
Absolutely.
I don't know that I would have survived without it. And I had to fight my church because they said Jesus should be enough. I'm like, well, Jesus isn't healing my depression.
Right.
He's telling me to take the medicine. So I just feel like, there's some truth to, to allowing yourself to take care of yourself in the way that feels right to you. So I just want to say that your intuition is extremely important. Again, this is not giving your power away to someone else, but reclaiming your power to decide what is best for you.
Exactly. And nobody should feel bad. Okay. Nobody should feel bad about your decision. If you decide that you want to take medicine, then take the medicine. And please, for the love of God, don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I was on medicine the whole time I was starting off this whole process. It was a support to me. It was like if you have a broken leg. I used to say to people, well, they would say you shouldn't be taking medicine. You should just be depending on God. I'm like, okay, well, are you going to stop taking your high blood pressure medicine? Or are you going to take that cast off your broken leg? Or, come on, people. Your brain is a physical organ. Sometimes it needs a little help. That's all.
Yes.
So here's the thing. I would have viewed it as I had a broken leg, my depression. I needed a crutch, my medicine. Meanwhile, I'm starting to practice gratitude and positivity. And eventually I could throw my crutch away, which I was able to do. Not everybody is able to do it. But I just say one day at a time, do what's best for you.
I remember quite a few years ago when I first started tuning into Facebook spiritual communities, there was this one person that came on and was literally telling everybody to go off their medication. And I literally sat in my kitchen and cried and flipped out. I was like, oh my God, that is not helpful. It's not going to help anybody. It's not. I personally am on medication for my heart. I have a prolapsed mitral valve. If I don't take this medication daily, I get heart flutters, and the heart flutters make you so nervous that they cause anxiety. Okay. So, yes, I am staying on my heart medication. I don't care who says what. You know what I'm saying? I really
Right.
don't care. This is the way that I choose to take care of me until, maybe someday I'll meet a beautiful healer that can fix that for me. I also do believe in hands-on healing. I believe in healers, okay, but that is not my path right now.
Right. When I got cancer 5 years ago, I did everything. I went to energy healers. I went to nutritionists. I had surgery. I had radiation. I did everything. I did the Eastern and the Western and the metaphysical. I did everything, anything and everything to heal myself from cancer, because I felt like the cancer was telling me, okay, I'm here because, and then I had to examine, why do I have cancer? So that's kind of what everything that's in your life, find out why it's there. Kimmy, are you still there? Because you disappeared. There she is.
My laptop is so finicky.
I thought I was left to carry on. Like, oh no, what do I say?
1 second. Hey, Winter, can you let Fidgy out, please? I went to go move and I touched it, and I was like, what did I do?
Hey, Kimmy, can I mention my book?
Oh, absolutely, Sarina.
Here's another thing about self-healing. I'm not mentioning my book to promote my book. I feel like what I want to say is, if the Spirit told me to write down a lot of what I was getting. So for years, I've been writing down little memories and vignettes, what we call vignettes, little shorts of what's happening. And then Spirit told me to put it in a book, and now the book has been published. It's called Tips for Transformation. So I just want to say that the journey that you're on is it's like we said at the beginning, this is not a short-term thing. This is for the rest of your life. Okay. And that there's a lot of little tips that you can pick up from this person or that person or this place or that place. And what feels right to you, what your intuition is telling you. So, I shared some of those tips in my book, but there's other writers who have also written down some of their, like Wayne Dyer. He's a great one. He's one of my mentors. I would recommend any of his books to people in a self-healing process. And another one that helped me a lot was Eckhart Tolle and his book, The Power of Now, because I was constantly stuck in the past or the future. I couldn't appreciate the life that I was living in the day that I'm in. I was either lamenting, grieving over the past, or I was worried, anxious about the future. And so The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle was and he suffered from severe depression. So I really related to him, was very helpful to me too. So you can find books too to read that will
absolutely. I have yours on my list of on my list of books to get.
It was a lot of fun getting it published. I mean, that's part of being severely depressed, is that you're not motivated and you can't accomplish anything. Yeah. You may start a lot of projects, but it's hard to finish them. So to actually see something come to fruition after 30 years of dreaming about it is the big boost for me. I'm like, oh yeah, I did it. And that's what you'll be saying about yourselves, you guys. I don't know who all is here or who all is going to listen to this later, but you can do that for yourself. You can bring yourself to a place where you can begin to manifest the things that you've been dreaming about.
Yes. And for anybody that's interested, where can we find you, Sarina?
Oh, okay. So my shamanic practice is I'm very active doing shamanic work for clients. You can see me there at sarinastouch.com. That's SARINASTOUCH.com. And then the book is on Amazon, Tips for Transformation by Sarina Michaels. Again, I spell my name a little different than the normal Sarina. I spell it Sarina. So
Okay. SarinaStouch.com. And I did post up in the featured section of Rainbow Journey. I posted in the the little promo that I made for us today. I posted your SarinaStouch.com and the link for your book.
well, thank you very much. That's really sweet of you.
Because we could all use tips.
Well, one of the reasons I love doing my shamanic work is because it just blesses the socks off of me to be able to help people. Because this is all I ever desired for myself. Somebody help me, and coming to understand that I'm my own healer, but that there are facilitators out there like Reiki practitioners and psychics and energy healers and shamans and, therapists. And there's all kinds of people out here that can help you. Just get in touch.
What question are you not going to ask, John? So if anybody has any questions that they would like to, we could do that now. Do you have a little bit of time for questions?
I do. I cleared the calendar for 2 hours because I wasn't sure how long this was gonna run.
Yeah, I was thinking about an hour or so,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Depending on the information coming forward, you know what I'm saying? Which Sarina, you really, 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 really are an amazing soul.
Oh, thanks, Kimmy.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're like a mutual admiration society. I say the same about you.
So if anybody has any questions, post your questions now. Doing more on this series. I have 5 other people booked. This Friday coming will be Zapier, and his self-healing journey, which I'm looking forward to. We don't know what someone's been going through or is going through, until we actually speak to them.
It's the truth.
Okay. And, I knew little bits and pieces of Sarina's journey, but I really didn't get the whole gist of it until you wrote that one post. And that one post literally floored me. It literally
you just don't know how desperate people can be.
Yes.
Because one thing we've learned to do in this society is to mask.
Right.
We get up and we put on a mask. And I grew up in the 1950s where, you're taught to be the good little girl. And
we had
that's what I learned to do. Go out the front door and pretend everything's fine.
Yes. Dale and I used to have a joke when he was alive. God bless his soul. I think he's here right now. Oh, he's here. I'm getting emotional.
Yeah, I'm not surprised he's there. He's there to support you in your new series.
Yeah, he used to say, are we ready? Let's put on our fake Christmas smiles.
That was it. Yeah. Well, I have to say that I'm not putting on a smile for you guys today.
Okay, so
this is the real me.
We have a question.
Very blessed. Go ahead.
Let's see if I can show it up here.
Oh, let me put my glasses on.
There we go. I also spent many years in suicidal depression. You said you felt that way from the time you were 4 years old. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you did. I was floored by that myself. I
used to hide in my room because when you're 3 or 4 years old, you cannot articulate that all is not well with the world. And I didn't know how to explain to my parents that I wasn't okay. And I felt like I needed to pretend that I was okay. So I needed to protect them in some way. Aww. That was how I responded.
Yeah.
So I just hid away.
So we have a question from Sandy Samadhi. Whoops, I just lost it. Do you believe in soul contracts?
I believe that in between lives we make we travel in what I would call soul packs of us that reincarnate, perhaps in many different roles, and that we have contracts to fulfill. I do believe that you need to be in touch with your intuition and your spirit team as to when they've been fulfilled, and if there's at any point in your life where there's an exit from a contract, so that you're not feeling bound by these contracts. These contracts, in my opinion, are goals that we set, and we do our best in this life to try to.
Oh, that's a really good take on that.
Meet. But the main thing that I would say is that anything that makes you feel shame or down on yourself, you need to go to your spirit team, and you need to go within yourself and talk to your higher self about it.
Yeah. Okay. So, and we have one more question from Sandy again. Yeah, that's spirit calling. Sorry, that always rings whenever I'm live. Always.
We'll just ignore it.
What is your take on why some of us have to suffer so much before awakening? That's
oh my gosh, that's a huge question. You know, people have written entire books. Let me gather my thoughts for a minute. Why do people have to suffer so much before they awaken? Well, we could look at it from the point of view that we were just discussing, the life between life decision. You know, I've spent a bunch of lives. Now, this is with the understanding that reincarnation exists. This is my belief system. I can only speak for my belief system.
Right.
If I'm coming for many lives and I've had many different experiences, I might want to experience a life where I experience deep suffering. I mean, I used to stand. I mean, I had a vision one time where I was standing on a hill looking down at a dark house. And I realized later that it was the pre-incarnated me looking at the life I was going into. There were no lights on. There was no love in the house. It didn't feel like there was any love in the house. And I had to literally gird up my loins to go into this life. So you might say, well, why would you do that? Because, you know, we come into this life, in this 3D life, to learn more, to become a higher manifestation of ourselves, to accomplish whatever we set for ourselves. And if suffering is part of it, you know, then suffering is part of it. Now, a lot of people would talk about karma. You know, you've done things in other lives, and so you have to suffer in this life. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that teaching.
I'm not. I'm definitely
think that,
not.
Yes, there are cause and effects, but I think that when we leave a life and we go into the next life, we get a chance to start over and do. If we want to come back, we can come back. We don't have to come back. Now, from the point of view of the ego, this is a totally different answer to that question. Your ego is your human mind construct, which will be formed by family, society, school, religion, all the different aspects of what you experience as not only as a child in your formative processes, but as a young adult. And then it also depends on the personality type you have. If you have for instance, if you have a very stubborn or rigid kind of personality, you might have a more difficult time letting go of your suffering. I remember one time in the Bible, Jesus said to the guy, do you want to be healed? You know, I mean, I'm here, I can heal you, but do you want to be healed? And the implication of that question is not everybody really wants to be healed. They may say they want to be healed, but deep down inside, they're clinging on. And some of us do this. We cling on to what is familiar. So in answer to your question, it's a very complex thing.
Yes, it
you
is.
may, on the surface, you may want healing, but in your subconscious, there's this deep clinging to what is familiar, and the suffering is familiar, and the anger is familiar, and there's a sense of entitlement, you know, which goes along with anger and feeling cheated. Oh, I know, because I had it for years. This sense of entitlement, you know, I'm entitled to be angry. I've suffered. I've been hurt, letting go of all of that can be very frightening and very intimidating. So yes, I think people begin to wake up long before the suffering stops, in answer to your question. But your ego, which wants to keep you safe and in a familiar place,
Yes.
will interfere. And so it's a constant daily being bloody minded about doing your self-healing process that you've chosen to do, and adding new things in as you find them, that will gradually bring you out. But it's a process. It's not an overnight thing. I hope that helps.
It's a process. Yes. John wants to know if you had ever tried EFT.
Yes, the tapping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Emotional freedom.
I did that for a while at the very beginning. I didn't experience the great revelation of it that some people do, and so I would say it's a method that works, but not for everyone, or at least not all the time. So, and maybe I was, and I don't even want to say that. I take that back. What I want to say is I tried it, but I didn't pursue it. So here's the thing about being bloody minded. You find the things that you can be bloody minded with. And you know what that word bloody minded means. It's a British expression meaning determined. I'm going to do this no matter what. I couldn't get that kind of determination with the EFT. But I know it's done wonders for others.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. John is going to be our guest next Monday at, I think, 7 p.m. I don't have my calendar in front of me.
I have to watch. I can't wait.
Yes. Let's see if we have any more. Do you have room for one more?
Who, me? Yes, of course.
Okay. Linda says, please explain soul retrieval. That could be used in helping another soul with your shamanic teachings. Please.
Okay. Number one, there's a brief description on my website, serenastouch.com. But just to put it into shamanic terminology, the belief is that certain things happen to us at different times, not only this life, but in other lives, and multidimensionally even.
Right.
Which cause a piece of ourself to break away. Okay, this is the shamanic understanding. And so you're continuing through your life or lifetimes not whole. Your soul is not whole. So a shaman will go go into trance and go on a journey into non-ordinary reality, which is the realms of the lower, the middle, and the upper world, with the aid of spirit helpers, and will be taken with the assistance of your higher self. This is all in conjunction with your higher self. The shaman doesn't decide what to do. The higher self shows the shaman where to go. In my case, this is how it works. And I will visit other lives that you're living. Everything's in the now. So everything is happening now, but it may feel like a past life. Okay. So I may see you being murdered in another life, and a piece of yourself is traumatized and stuck there. And I will have prepared you ahead of time to receive back any piece of yourself with nurture and love. And if that piece is ready to be rejoined, I will bring that piece back to you. That's it's a very simple answer to a very complex thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Miranda wants to know if that's like soul fractals.
I haven't heard that term, but the word fractal
means parts.
Piece.
Yeah.
So I would say probably, without knowing any more about how other people work with soul fractals, I can't say too much more about it.
Wow. So I think that's it for the questions. This was really, really amazing. This was amazing. I thank you so much, Sarina, for doing this with me, especially being my first ever interview.
Well, I want to thank you for making me feel so comfortable. And I have to say that a few years ago, I couldn't have done this because I would have felt too self-conscious. And so I can say an encouragement to everyone here, whatever is happening with you, every day you get better. It gets better as you commit yourself to loving yourself and healing yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It takes
I feel very
commitment.
comfortable talking about it now. So thank you for inviting me.
It takes commitment. It takes work on yourself. It's not going to happen magically overnight.
Nope. And again, we are our own healers. Nobody's coming to save us.
Absolutely. The guy on the white horse isn't coming. Or the girl.
You're your own guy on the white horse.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I thank you for being here with us. I thank you for coming and supporting us. This has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I'm looking forward to the interview with Zay on Friday. I will put up a post about that tonight. And then the following Monday is John Thaddeus Fiore. And I don't have my calendar in front of me, so I don't want to screw it up. So I will announce those as they come along. Thank you, Sarina, from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Blessings to all of you.
Have a great rest of your day, guys. And remember to always encourage each other and lift each other up.
All right.